Imagine this scenario. You arrive at the airport tomorrow morning, boarding pass in hand, ready for a routine flight. You check the departure board, you check your gate, and then you turn toward the security checkpoint. But instead of the usual winding line of tired travelers, you see something that stops you in your tracks. Standing at the entrance to the terminal, flanking the TSA checkpoint, and patrolling the baggage claim area are men and women in tactical vests. They aren't TSA agents. They aren't local police. They are federal agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. And as you move through the line, one of them locks eyes with you and steps forward. "Where are you from?" he asks. "What is your status in the United States?" Your heart starts to race. Can they ask you that here? Can they check your immigration papers in a domestic security line? Can they detain you right in front of your family? This is not a hypothetical what if. This is the reality facing travelers across the United States starting tomorrow morning. Following a directive confirmed by the highest levels of government and Department of Homeland Security officials, hundreds of ICE agents are being deployed to major airports to supplement security operations during the ongoing DHS shutdown. I am Edward, and this is U.S. Green Card Signal. My goal today is not to spread fear, but to arm you with facts. By the end of this broadcast, you will be more prepared than 99% of the people walking into an airport this week. We are going to break down exactly what is happening, why ICE is being sent to airport terminals, what their legal authority actually is, and most importantly, the 5 critical steps you must take to protect yourself and your family before you travel. Stay with me because this situation is evolving rapidly, and what you don't know could cost you your trip, or worse. Let's start with the timeline, because this escalation happened incredibly fast. Over the weekend, statements from the administration confirmed that due to the ongoing funding stalemate for the Department of Homeland Security, alternative measures were being taken to manage the chaos at airports. The president posted on social media that if funding was not restored immediately, ICE agents would be moved into airports to assist. This was followed by even stronger language, suggesting a directive for agents to be ready for immediate deployment. Then came the clarification that changed everything. In a follow-up statement, it was explicitly mentioned that these agents would not just be there for crowd control, but would also be enforcing immigration laws, with a specific focus on arresting undocumented individuals who may be attempting to travel. This is a critical distinction. We are not just talking about extra bodies to move plastic bins. We are talking about law enforcement officers with arrest authority entering a space that has traditionally been focused solely on aviation safety. If you are from any immigrant background, whether you are from South Asia, Africa, Latin America, or the Middle East, this shift in enforcement posture requires you to be hyper-vigilant. This deployment was further confirmed by senior officials on Sunday morning news programs. The message was clear: we will be at airports tomorrow. The plan is being coordinated between the director of ICE and the TSA administrator. The official explanation is that the president is using every tool available to help American travelers deal with the massive delays caused by the shutdown. But while the stated goal is to help move lines along, the presence of immigration enforcement officers in a domestic travel setting raises immediate and serious questions about civil liberties and the scope of their mission. To understand why this is happening, we have to look at the root cause, the DHS shutdown. The Department of Homeland Security has been unfunded for over 5 weeks. This political deadlock stems from a tragic incident in Minneapolis involving federal agents, which led to a standoff in the Senate. One side is demanding sweeping reforms to ICE and Border Patrol, including warrants for raids, body cameras, and access to legal counsel, while the other side refuses to pass a funding bill with those conditions attached. The result is a stalemate that has left over 50,000 TSA officers working without pay for more than a month. The strain on these workers is breaking the system. Resignations have spiked, with hundreds of officers quitting in just the last week. The call-out rate, agents calling in sick because they can't afford the gas to get to work, hit a record high of over 10% nationwide. At major hubs like Houston and Atlanta, absenteeism has reached crisis levels, leading to wait times of 2, 3, or even 4 hours. We are hearing reports of TSA agents sleeping in their cars just to keep their jobs. This is the vacuum that ICE is being sent to fill. But here is the irony that is frustrating so many observers. ICE is fully funded. Their budget was passed separately last year. So the agents being sent to help are getting their paychecks, while the TSA officers they are standing next to are working for free. It creates a tension on the ground that is palpable, and it raises a fundamental question. What can an ICE agent actually do at an airport security checkpoint? Let's break this down into 3 parts: location, role, and legal authority. First, location. Based on official statements, ICE agents will likely be positioned in the public pre-security areas of the airport. This means the terminal entrances, the winding queues for the security checkpoints, and the exit doors from the secure area. They are unlikely to be manning the boarding gates or patrolling the secure concourses, although their jurisdiction technically allows them to be anywhere. Their primary stated function is to free up TSA officers from non-screening duties, like checking boarding passes or managing the line, so that every available TSA blue shirt can be on an X-ray machine. Second, role. There has been conflicting information about this. Some officials suggested ICE agents might help with screening, but that was quickly corrected. Under federal law, specifically Title 49, airport security screening must be performed by trained and certified personnel. TSA officers undergo months of specialized training to detect improvised explosive devices, concealed weapons, and artfully hidden threats. ICE agents are trained in law enforcement, investigation, and apprehension. They are not trained to read an X-ray of a carry-on bag. The TSA Officers Union has been very vocal about this. Their president released a statement saying, TSA officers deserve to be paid, not replaced by untrained armed agents. He emphasized that aviation security is a specialized skill set that cannot be improvised by someone with a badge from a different agency. A badge gives you authority, but it doesn't give you the technical skill to spot a threat on a scanner screen. Third, and most importantly for you, legal authority. This is the part you need to understand clearly. ICE agents have the legal authority to enforce federal immigration laws anywhere within the United States. That authority does not vanish because they are standing near a Delta check-in counter. If an ICE agent has probable cause to believe someone is in the country illegally, they can stop, question, and detain that person. The president's statement explicitly mentioned arresting undocumented immigrants at airports. This signals a shift from passive assistance to active enforcement. And while specific nationalities were mentioned in political rhetoric, the reality of profiling affects a broad spectrum of travelers. Data from previous years shows that travelers from Muslim-majority countries, as well as Black and brown travelers generally, are disproportionately selected for secondary screening and device searches at airports. If you fit a certain profile, or if you simply look like an immigrant to an agent, you need to be prepared for the possibility of interaction. However, here's the good news. The Constitution travels with you. The Fourth Amendment protects every person on American soil, citizen and non-citizen alike, from unreasonable searches and seizures. An ICE agent cannot simply detain you because they feel like it. They need reasonable suspicion to stop you for questioning and probable cause to arrest you. Simply being at an airport is not probable cause. Speaking a foreign language is not probable cause. If an agent approaches you and asks about your immigration status, you have rights. You have the right to remain silent. You are not legally required to answer questions about where you were born, how you entered the country, or what your status is, unless you are entering the country at an international border checkpoint, like arriving from abroad. For a domestic flight, you are interacting with law enforcement inside the country, and the standard protections apply. Furthermore, regarding identification, for a domestic flight, the only document you are legally required to show to pass through security is a valid government-issued photo ID. This can be a driver's license, a state ID, or a passport. You are not required to show a green card or a visa to a TSA agent. However, if ICE is present and conducting consensual encounters, they may ask for it. There is also a hidden layer to this surveillance. Since late last year, reports indicate that TSA has been sharing passenger manifest data with immigration authorities more frequently to cross-check against criminal and immigration databases. This means that in some cases, authorities may know who is coming to the airport before they arrive. If you have an outstanding removal order, a deportation order, or a warrant, the system may flag you. Based on this complex landscape, here are the 5 critical things every traveler needs to do before going to the airport this week. Number 1, carry your papers. This is not the time to leave your documents at home. If you are a green card holder, lawful permanent resident, federal law actually requires you to carry your green card with you at all times. Carry the original and keep a color photocopy in a separate bag or on your phone. If you are a naturalized citizen, carry your U.S. passport or a copy of your naturalization certificate. If you are on a work visa, H-1B, L-1, etc., carry your most recent I-94 record, your approval notice, I-797, and your EAD card if you have one. If you are questioned, being able to produce proof of legal status immediately can end the encounter in seconds. You want to resolve any doubt right there in the terminal, not in an interview room hours later. Number 2, know your 3 phrases. Memorize these. Write them down. Keep them on your phone. If you are stopped by any law enforcement officer, including ICE, you need to know how to assert your rights calmly and respectfully. Phrase 1, am I being detained or am I free to go? This clarifies the nature of the stop. If they say you are not detained, you can walk away. Phrase 2, I am choosing to remain silent. You do not have to answer questions about your history or status. Phrase 3, I would like to speak to a lawyer. If you are detained, this stops the interrogation until you have legal counsel. Do not sign anything without a lawyer. Number 3, arrive extremely early. The system is stressed. Wait times are unpredictable. With the addition of ICE agents, there may be new bottlenecks or confusion at the checkpoints. For a domestic flight, arrive 3 to 4 hours early. For an international flight, give yourself 5 hours. It sounds extreme, but missing a flight right now is a nightmare because rebooking is difficult with full planes. Bring a book, bring a charger, and just plan to wait. Number 4, strategic airport choice. Did you know that not all airports use federal TSA screeners? About 20 airports in the U.S. participate in the Screening Partnership Program and use private security contractors. These screeners are not federal employees, so they are not working without pay, and their operations are generally normal. San Francisco SFO is the biggest one. Kansas City MCI and Orlando Sanford SFB are others. If you can route your travel through one of these hubs, you might avoid the worst of the chaos and the heavy ICE presence. Check the list online before you book. Number 5, the legal check. If you have any unresolved immigration issue, a pending case that is complicated, a prior arrest, an old removal order you aren't sure about, or an expired visa, speak to an immigration attorney before you fly this week. This is not fear-mongering. It is risk management. The directive from the top is to enforce immigration law at airports. If you are vulnerable, An airport is a high-risk environment right now. An attorney can look at your specific file and tell you if it is safe to travel or if you should stay home until the shutdown ends. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. What we are witnessing is a historic merging of two distinct missions: aviation security and immigration enforcement. TSA was created to stop terrorists and weapons. ICE was created to enforce immigration laws. Mixing them in the chaotic environment of a busy airport terminal creates a volatile situation. A green card holder visiting family shouldn't have to worry about being interrogated about their history while taking off their shoes. A naturalized citizen shouldn't feel intimidated by armed agents while trying to visit a sick relative. But this is the reality of the current policy decision. Senior members of Congress have already voiced alarm, calling the deployment of untrained agents a potential safety risk. Whether you agree with the politics or not, the operational reality is that the airport environment has changed. Here is what to watch for in the coming days. As these agents deploy, we will likely see reports of how they are interacting with the public. We will see if the wait times actually go down or if the confusion makes them worse. Negotiations in Congress are ongoing, but the two sides remain far apart on the core issues of judicial warrants and agent conduct. The next TSA payday is approaching fast. If the shutdown isn't resolved by Friday, officers will miss another paycheck, which could lead to a total collapse of staffing levels. Transportation officials have warned that if this continues, we could see airport closures. We are in uncharted territory. I want to leave you with this thought. The airport you walk into tomorrow is not the same one you walked into last year. There are new players, new rules, and new risks. But you have the ultimate advantage: information. You know what is happening. You know your rights. You know what documents to carry. That knowledge transforms fear into power. Please share this update with your community. Send it to your friends on work visas, your family members with green cards, and anyone who might be traveling. The more people who are prepared, the safer everyone will be. I am Edward, and this is U.S. Green Card Signal. I will be monitoring this situation hour by hour. As soon as we have reports from the ground about where ICE is deployed and what they are doing, I will bring that to you. Subscribe to stay ahead of the news. Stay safe, stay legal, and travel smart.